Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM, here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So happy Monday. Thanks for joining. I didn't want to keep changing around, so I think this might be a good time. So let me know in the comments if this is a good time for the Zebec Army for live streams. I'm trying to do it during the day and do XRP in the evening. But let me know in the comments if you guys think this is a better time or do we need to go back to afternoon. So tonight is not one of those streams where I tell you random altcoin changed the world because somebody on X used 3 fire emojis. We actually have a real story here. Zebec is trying to take crypto out of the wallet, off the screen, and into everyday life. And now Base is part of that story. So let me know what you guys think about that. And I want to be fair from the start. I don't have a confirmed secret bombshell announcement from Zebec today. What I do have is a stack of official updates to make the project look more like a more serious than people may realize. So let's get to got a couple of shorts to show, then we'll come back to the article. ZBCN just shocked the market, and the real reason is not the price. The reason is the narrative. Zebec is pushing one of the clearest real world utility stories in crypto right now. Move money on Base from wallets into everyday life. So thanks for joining. What is this? Zebec is cementing its role as the global PayFi benchmark by combining native RL or XRPL integration with US RLUSD driven payroll systems with a network of institutional bank validators. I won't be able to listen, but peace and love to everyone. Let's go. Thank you, Bay. I tried to move it to get you guys on, but we'll have to see. What up, Dave? What's going on with your fam? So let's start the screen share and see what we can see. So first, shout out to Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is the official sponsor of the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit your main man up with a super chat. And we're getting over to the space information. What up, Silver? Hardest working man in crypto. Thanks for joining. Keeping it moving. So this is Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a 24/7 brokerage. So they do help you self-custody the crypto, and they do help you with a one-on-one broker and also help you with 24/7 support if you have questions or comments, or if you just want to talk to somebody about crypto. They are always there, always willing to help and to help you guys out. So big shout out to Caleb and Brown. And I am at the bonus. So anybody else that joins, bro, we are live. So Dave, what up, Toshi? What up, Yazim? What up, Dave? So thanks for joining. And here is a couple shorts real quick before we get into the actual updates today. So this is Main Man Grow Rich and Grow Happy.
Where we at, guys? The market cap right now is 266 million. But if you notice, look at this price right here, guys. I really believe that 1 cent is going to be hit. Depending on what happens with this Clarity Act, I believe that path to $1 is, and I'm not being a moon boy, although I like being a moon boy. You guys know it. But that $1 is going to be a lot easier to get to than a lot of you could probably even comprehend. So I'm going to go down here. And again, I'm always looking at what you can get the minimum. So just the minimum, guys, and a $50 price right here. You're not getting as much as you used to. let's just say this. I'm going to jump over here with you guys because I see a lot of this around. Everybody talk about if World War III does break out, we're looking at a crypto crash. That could be. I'm not going to say it wouldn't happen. That could mess up a lot of things. But again, I'm not fearful because I understand what I hold. You should be too.
So, as always, a big shout out to Grow Rich and Grow Happy. And he's right. $1 is closer than you think it is, guys. Let me know in the comments if we don't have a massive Black Swan event. I think it is time for Zebec to finally run it up. This is the next short. Who is this? This is We Make Trillionaires.
We mix momentum across different altcoins. And one coin that is gradually gaining attention today is ZBCN coin. At the moment, ZBCN is trading around $0.0024 after recording a modest 5% pump in the last 24 hours, indicating steady buying pressure and improving market sentiment around the token. A 5% gain in a single day may not seem extremely large compared to some explosive altcoin rallies, but it is still considered a healthy bullish movement, especially when it happens alongside stable trading volume. Gradual price increases like this often suggest that investors are slowly accumulating the coin rather than pushing the price up through short-term speculation. In the crypto market, smaller and mid-cap tokens often start their momentum with slow and steady growth before larger price movements occur. When traders notice consistent upward movement, the coin can begin attracting more attention from momentum traders and short-term investors, which may eventually increase the buying pressure further. Another important factor behind moderate pumps like today's 5% increase is market confidence. When a coin begins showing consistent positive movement, it signals that buyers are stepping in and supporting the price, preventing major downward corrections. Looking at the current price around $0.0024, traders are now watching the next potential resistance levels near $0.0026 to $0.0028. If buying momentum continues and the coin manages to break above these zones with strong trading volume, the market could attempt a short-term move toward the $0.003 level. On the downside, the important support level appears to be around $0.0021 to $0.0022. If the price remains above this range, it would suggest that the market is maintaining a stable bullish structure in the short term. It's also important to remember that the cryptocurrency market is highly volatile, and even small pumps can sometimes lead to short-term corrections or sideways consolidation.
So, shout out to We Make Trillionaires. This is the Emmanuel Way Up. Let's see what he has to say real quick, and then we'll get back into it.
About ZBCN once more. Now, paying attention to ZBCN chart right now. ZBCN.
What up, Peter? Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Is currently trading around zone of 0.0025545 as of the time of recording this video. As a matter of fact, we are currently at around the previous support area, which comes right here for ZBCN. And we are now experiencing a sell of price, expecting a further pullback of price to the downside. And we have also mapped out some liquidation price point area where the price is likely to move towards before getting a bounce to the upside. Now, the RSI indicator of ZBCN, you can see right here that we are currently at around the zone of 45, which simply indicates a neutral but slight bearish momentum for the price of the asset right now as we speak for ZBCN. While the MACD indicator, you can see right here, shows that the MACD line, as of the time of recording, is crossed below the signal line, pointed towards the downside, which simply means that we should expect a further dump of price for ZBCN to the downside. And that is why you can see right here that we are still expecting a further dump of price, which is likely to bring us all the way to around this previous support area of 0.002471 for ZBCN. And the moment we get to that zone, we are likely to get a bounce reversal to the upside, a rejection to the upside, which is likely to take us all the way to around its previous support area of 0.0025 for ZBCN coin. Now, let me quickly show you guys something, guys. Over here, you can see that by the time ZBCN is taking out a zone of 0.002863, we should be expecting over $2,000, which is going to be liquidated from short position. And we also have this that shows that by the time ZBCN get a dump towards 0.002301, we should expect over $1,000 getting liquidated from long position for ZBCN. So that simply means that we are still expecting a further dump of price for ZBCN, which is likely to break into the small part liquidation price point area if care is not taken, guys. In order for the liquidity around that zone to be taken out, we are expecting to get towards around the 30 zone anytime soon for ZBCN, guys. And the moment we drop below to around the 30 zone, we should be expecting a dump, a bounce reversal to the upside, because some traders will start stepping into the market from that area. I don't intend making this video lengthy. What's it?
So shout out to the Emmanuel Webb, and I guess he's thinking the price is gonna go down. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Zebec price. Let's look at the bubbles real quick. So on the bubbles, looks like Nero's up 2%, Ordinar's up 3.1, Telecoin is up 3.1, Prime's up 4.1, Solana is up 1.3 on the day, 0.2 on the hour, 1.9 on the week, 4.3 down on the month, and 37.2 down on the year. Ondo's up 1.2, Sui's up 1.4. Hyperliquid's been doing a little something here. Up 1% on the hour, 5.6 on the day, 17.9 on the week, 14.6 on the month, and 165 on the year at $43.70. BNB is up 2.1%. XRP is up 0.6 on the day, 0.1 on the hour to $1.34. Canon Network is up 3.6 on the day, down 0.4 on the hour, up 4.3 on the week. XVS is up 2.9. Monero's up 1.2. Nexo's up 1.6. Radian's up 1.3. Trump coin is up 0.9. Let's see, where are we? Moran is up 0.5. Safe is up 3.6. Powell's up 1.6. Jupiter's up 1.7. XCO's up 0.6. DexE's up 3.9. AIXBT is up 3.5. Theta's up 4.6. Satoshi is up 6%. Link's up 1.4. Jasmine is up 0.6. Alchemy Pay is up 1.6. Aerodrome Financial is up 0.8. Stellar is up 1.6. So look at the big boys. Bitcoin is actually up 1.8 on the day, 0.4 on the hour, 3.8 on the week, 2.4 on the month, down 15.2 on the year to 72,444. So it's holding steady at the 70,000 range. Okay, next is Ethereum. Ethereum's at 1.4 on the day, 0.3 on the hour, 4.2 on the week, 7.4 on the month, and 32.5 on the year to $2,232. XRP. Wait, where did XRP? So, of course, our favorite payroll processor, the crypto of the future, is down 1.2 on the day, 0.8 on the hour, down 2.8 on the week, then up 27.5 on the month, and up 154 on the year to 0025. If we can just get out of the freaking 2.5 range, man, what do we got to do, man? Every time we're still coming back to the 002 something, man. If we can just get out the twos. What up, Peter? What up, Mambo? Hey, everyone. Anyone buying the dip? LOL, this isn't a dip for me, but I'm buying a little. Holding for another leg down, Mambo. Hope it comes. I think there is going to be another leg down, and I'm waiting for a deeper push. It has nothing to do with Zebec, but the market's getting shaky, and it's going to get shakier. So I'm expecting a dip is coming soon. So over to X. This is the announcement. Today, ZBCN enlisted everyday payments now on Base. Our card and product suite now supports Base. Bring low cost on chain dollars into real world use. From payments to payroll, Zebec helps move money on Base from wallets into everyday life. Built for builders on Base, our card and payment stack is live and open to any project building on Base. It's designed for everyday use, payroll that works with existing systems with new ways to store and move value on chain. Coming soon, payroll built on chain use. Build on Base, bring faster, seamless payroll on chain while staying compatible with existing rails, open as public good for everyone. Receive payments on Base soon, send via cards and transfer on chain. Zebec and Base is helping upgrade how money moves. Shout out to Crypto Queen, Android Master. I might have to put my own little something on here. So let's see. Looks at the chain of integration. Zebec has now confirmed Solana, Original Home, Stellar, Global, Payroll, MoneyGram partnerships. Base, Coinbase just announced today. XRP, Ripple, widely anticipated at the Vegas this month. This isn't a single chain project anymore. Zebec is systematically embedding itself across every major payment focused blockchain one by one. The timing of Base announced 2 weeks before XRP Vegas, and in 2 weeks, feels very deliberate. They're building momentum and headlines heading into what could be the biggest announcement yet. And that's a good question. What do you guys think the major announcement will be at XRP Vegas at the end of the month? Looking at the holders, currently for holders, we are at 100,559. 4 hours, we lost 2. 12 hours, we gained 2, which is weird. Seems like we just lost the 2 we gained. On the day, we added 48. 3 days, 146. For 7 days, 490. For 2 weeks, 1,236. And for 30 days, 3,522. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, ZBCN. Let me know in the chat if you know where it's at. So keeping it moving. Think about how rare that in this market, most projects are still somewhere between trust me, bro, and white paper fan fiction. Zebec is over here saying payroll, cards, and Base, Apple Pay, Google Pay, real world spending is a much more grown up conversation. Some tokens want to disrupt finance. Zebec looks like it wants to help you buy groceries without writing a doctoral thesis on building. Question for the chat. Do you think real world payments is the biggest Zebec catalyst, or is it still part of pure speculation? So let me know what you guys think about this question in the chat. So this is holders keep going up. I remember when we were at 60K. Bro, I remember when we were at 25 and 50K before we were even tracking it for real, before a lot of people even understood what was going on with the ZBCN. But yeah, you're right. We've been doing a whole lot of picking up lately. So, what is actually new with the Zebec right now? Zebec blogs say first quarter 2026 includes super app launch, multi-chain expansion, and 100K holders. Zebec's published payroll meets USD1 on April 2nd. Zebec published your treasury already knows how to pay agents on March 30th. Zebec published streaming payroll to Stellar on March 19th. If someone asks why are people suddenly talking about Zebec again, here's the answer. There's a cluster of fresh products and infrastructure updates, not just one random tweet. This is what I like to see: smaller cap projects, not just hype circles, but sequences of product storylines, super app, base, payroll, stable coin, cards, stellar, AI payments. That creates a much stronger content engine for the native token. Zebec has been dropping updates like they're trying to make my thumbnail designer quit. I know that's right, bro. Update after update after update. And like this guy was saying, it's almost like they're gearing us up for something major to happen at the end of the month. Captain Zach, ZBCN, Zebec Pirates. If Amazon ever moves payroll in real time, it's not just an upgrade, that's domination. Millions of workers, money moving every second. The future of workforce finance. Amazon and Zebec. This is CKJ. Solana dominates all chains. Hidden jewels on Solana domination. So there's Solana 25.3 billion. Let's see here. Binance 1.7, Tron 278, Polygon 711 million, Atos 704 million, Stellar 413 million, Sui 382 million, now Near Protocol 314 million, Side Network 229, and Injective 140 million. So it's right. Solana is way out, bro. Solana's in its own realm almost. Top trending coins on CoinRabbit. What is CoinRabbit? Top 5 is Zebec, HBAR, Zello, GigaChad, and Dash. That's weird. GigaChad will refuse to go down. So this is 16 days until the rails collide in Vegas. 16 days, Las Vegas rails collide, Zebec, XRP, and Uphold. 3 forces, 1 city, 1 future being built in real time. Man, I wish I can get out to Vegas. I might see what I can do, man. Make something work. Make it twerk. Do something strange for a little piece of change. Good morning, pirates. We're at the 0025. Massive. This proves that Zebec Network and Coinbase partnership, the base in the Zebec partnerships, just solidifies what we all have been saying. ZBCN will erupt with a new financial pair. Be ready or go get left behind. And shout out to my main man, Crypto Gold. Gold is in my veins. He's always writing very good articles. You need to check him out. Big shout out to Crypto Gold. Zebec is the network listed in the crypto.com app. Purchase ZBCN easy with USD, Euro, GBT plus 20 fiat currencies. Download the app. So back to updates. Where were we? In plain English, this means Zebec is trying to make base assets feel less like stuff that sits in your wallet and more like money you can actually use in regular life. That is very different pitch from we've integrated another chain. Crypto users love saying mass adoption until you ask them to actually buy a sandwich with it. From base to real life. The card story how Zebec bridges crypto into everyday spending. Zebec says Silver Card is accepted through MasterCard networks on millions of local worldwide locations. Zebec says it works with Apple Pay and Google Pay. Zebec says the ZBCN can fund Zebec Card and support real world spending in fiat. Zebec says its products are about bringing blockchain into everyday life. And it makes sense, right? All the stuff you can do with the cards connecting and locking and being able to operate on the came back from walking, sweating like crazy. With Zebec, you can use the cards and make purchases on the MasterCard network, which is going to pay out big. Just be patient. I think real world payments is going to be a thing, but people still see it as speculation. People do, but I don't care what people see, bro. Peter, like I know once they start using it, the the devil's in the detail, man. Once they start using it and can see how it works, these guys are going to jump all over that. It's the connections is the catalyst. You're right. That's what I'm saying. Once they start using it and they start seeing all this stuff it is connecting to, it is going to run, bro, and never come back, right? It's going to start running and running and running. So it's only a matter of time. I think after the Vegas, if there is no conflict or major war event, I think that's when we're going to start pumping. They're going to say something in Vegas that opens a lot of people up to it. And from there, the sky is the limit. So let's see. Zebec says its products are about bringing blockchain into everyday life. Here's why the card angle matters so much. If your chain asset can move into a card and that card can move into normal spending, story becomes much more easier for regular people to understand, right? If they can use the card and physically touch it and physically buy candy or cigarettes or gas, especially gas, oh my God, or gas with it, right? Once they can use it physically, then the story starts telling itself, right? People do not wake up wanting a complicated DeFi diagram. They want something simpler. I can get paid. I can move money. I can send it. Zebec is clearly trying to answer all of these. Nothing says real world utility like having to explain layer 2 gas fees to the cashier. You're right. Visa, etc. Zebec Paymaster. What up, Curtis? Thanks for joining. So this is why payroll is bigger deal than people think. Zebec says it enables real-time payroll. Dang it, real-time payroll and stablecoins and stellar on Zebec says businesses will be able to pay workers in real time by seconds with stablecoin like USDC flowing into digital wallets. On April 2nd, Zebec promoted USD1 support in the Super app for team payments, vesting, dashboards, and bulk transfers. Payroll is sneaky big because it turns crypto from speculative asset into reoccurring financial infrastructure. And that's a much stronger long term use case than people give credit for. Right. Once you start making payments and you could do payroll and people actually get paid, right? We're talking about salary, we're talking about spending, we're talking about bills when they do start coming in and actually start doing something, they can really make a change. So that's the other catalyst that people aren't really understanding, right? If you can actually get up and start making payments and do payroll, right? If you stream checks to a wallet, that's a big plus for a lot of people and businesses, right? You don't have to deal with banks because ultimately crypto will make you your own bank, right? You don't have to deal with the banking industry at all. You don't got to deal with the Federal Reserve anymore. You don't have to deal with loans and licensing. Crypto will eventually remove all that, and people will be walking banks with their own wallets and their own payment ecosystem. And Zebec is going to be right in the middle of all of it. When Zebec talks about real time wages, employer dashboards, bulk transfers, and stablecoin payroll, it's not just crypto theater that the type of product language businesses actually understand. Traditional payroll says you'll get paid Friday. Zebec says if Friday was every second, right? What if Friday was every second, right? What if you could get paid every day, every hour, every second? Do you think people are not going to work harder? People are going to be at work like crazy, bro. And Nick, you can literally see your check comment. Oh man, that's going to change the game for working people as a whole in companies, right? There's no more worrying about bill paying and waiting for Friday to get paid. If you take the worry out of getting paid and people understand it's streaming, they're going to do a lot more work, which I haven't quite figured out why nobody hasn't brought this up a long time ago. So this is where Zebec says Super App is early access. Zebec says ZBCN powers card funding everyday purchases. Zebec says staking inside the Super App can unlock reward tiers for card users starting in mid 2026. Zebec describes an ecosystem where ZBCN participants is tied to everyday usage. This is where the bull case gets more interesting. If the super app becomes the center of spending, staking, payroll, cards, and then the ZBCN is not just a ticker, it becomes part of the product loop. That does not guarantee price, but it does mean the projects is at least trying to tie token utility to actual user behavior in crypto that matters. Some tokens are decorative pillows. ZBCN is at least trying to do chores around the house. Right. It's got functionality. It's really a true product. It's not out here standing in the way is actually gonna do something big. So we skipped this part. Over to the crypto market. Current market cap is 2.4 trillion, up 0.31. CNC 20 is $148.78, up 1.84%. Fear and greed is neutral. What? That's weird. How's the fear and greed at neutral? Altcoin market cap is 33 out of 100, going back towards Bitcoin dominance. And it's weird because they took that one spot off. They used to show the overall crypto market cap. I'm not sure why they took that off. So currently, ZBCN is back at the 0025. Can't fade to 5. Down 1.29% on the day. Market cap is 255.8 million. Down 1.28. 24-hour trading volume is 6.2 million. Down 0.6. Okay, let's look at the latest. Not a whole lot here on the day. Zebec, you need a project that robust and has utility like ZBCN, XRP, and Quant. My 10 cents is that you need to scoop a bag, set, and then forget. The biggest lesson I've learned: not to listen to influencers, don't chase pumps, and the next shiny thing. Set your own target, take profit, and then just hold for long-term gains. That's actually pretty good advice. It's not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. So this is, if you're worried about global political turmoil, you aren't buying this crypto for the right reason. Do some research on crypto as a whole. This is going to be the biggest bull run anyone has ever seen. Hold and buy the freaking dip. Not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. So imagine 100 trillion market cap. I know, Peter, I know. 1.1 of that is Zebec. 0.1 of that to Zebec is unimaginable. Imaginable? Possibly. What is 0.1% of 100 trillion? Was that 100 million? 100 billion? I don't know. I'll have to do the math on that later. Let me see here. So currently we're at the 0025, down 0.3 on the hour, down 1.7 on the day, 2.6 on the week, up 27.29 on the month, down 11.6 on the quarter, and up 156% on the year. So let me know what you guys think about these updates as well. So back over to my notes. I would say this carefully. I do not sit here and tell you the secret of mega announcements is confirmed, but I can tell you that the setup is obvious. Zebec has given creators and traders a much more compelling story to work with than just watch the chart. If you are expanding the super app, card distribution, stablecoin payroll, and cross-chain consumer flows, the market may treat the next product step like a major announcement anyway. This may be one of those moments where the market looks back later and says, wait, there was actually building something while we were arguing over memes. So, that went by pretty quick. Zebec just shocked the market, not because someone posted a random moon emoji. Zebec is pushing one of the clearest real world crypto narratives I've seen in a while, moving money on base from wallets into everyday life. We got a fresh official Zebec update, card utility, payroll expansion, and super app strategy that will be a lot bigger than people think. So today, let's break it down. Zebec is quietly becoming one of the most interesting pay-fi stories in crypto. And let's keep it moving. So this is why the Clarity Act wins with most. Wait, why Zebec wins the most with the Clarity Act. See what he's talking about here.
Clear signal. That signal is here, the Clarity Act, establishing common sense rules for digital assets and payment stablecoins. It defines oversight, sets reserve standards, and replaces gray areas with predictable guidance. This is the green light for real-time, compliant value movement. For Zebec, that clarity makes dollar-denominated payroll streams enterprise-ready, backed by verified reserves, auditable, and familiar to finance teams. Crucially, the Act recognizes non-custodial protocols. Funds stay in user-controlled wallets while programmable streams move value by rules you define. Start, stop, pause, or split, securely, second by second. Banks can partner under known rules. Compliance exports become simple data pulls. Accruals update live. Off-cycle corrections execute instantly. Operational and legal risk drop, adoption accelerates. And the impact is visible. Earnings that flow in real time without loans, balances updating every second, automatic splits to savings or taxes, and auditable trails end to end. This video starts at the beginning, how Zebec's streaming payroll works in practice, and
so let's switch this over to Zebec Network. Chapter 6. That was from earlier today. Let's see what these guys have to say.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Zebec Gazette, brought to you by the Zebec Nation podcast, the only show where payroll streams, stablecoins flex, and the crypto charts behave like they've had 6 cups of coffee. And I'm Throbbing Lantern, your trusted pulse for everything Zebec Network news. We're going to start this week with a community spotlight. And yes, you're noticing that Heavy Hitter is not here. I'm sorry. He is sick, and we are going to miss you, Heavy Hitter.
What's going on, fellow?
We're going to get right into this. Like I said earlier, we're doing our community spotlight of the week, which is Crypto Chrome. He's a legend of the community. He works very hard at all these videos, and we're going to have to watch a couple right now.
XRP was about to change Vegas until someone froze time. Not on my watch. Your chains of delay end now. 2 to 5 business days. Processing. Pending. Clint profits every second it ticks slowly. Your chains can't hold progress. Time to lock this down. Leaders were about to talk real-time payments. That's when Clint activated the time lock. Everything froze. When time stops, most systems stop with it, but flow doesn't depend on seconds. That's Zebec. The clock can stop a moment, but it cannot stop a stream. Freeze time if you want. XRP settles instantly. Zebec flows continuously, and together they make delay impossible. When time was controlled, value stood still. The old bank system needs delay. The future runs money in real time.
Now, previous videos.
Thank you, Crypto Chrome. He also made another video that I asked him to make. And no, Sam did not ask him to say this or ask us to say this. I made him say this. I changed the quote a little bit because the first part of the quote has to apply to a lot of people, not just he. So it's those now. You'll see what I mean in a second.
Here are some wise words from our ZBCN founder, Sam.
Those who persevere conquer.
Yeah, I bet you didn't see that one coming. But yeah, no, Sam did not tell us to do that. So don't pretend like Sam told us to, please. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Crypto Chrome. Actually, let's go to his profile really quickly because he has a lot of videos that are solid. And then I'm going to break down the news for the week. This is breaking news Monday morning because we are going to break down that space from last Thursday. Boom. Okay. One more video from Crypto Chrome.
Your money is already moving through systems you didn't choose, and most people have no idea. And that's a problem, because what just happened didn't come with a headline, but it changes how money actually flows. On the surface, this looks like a simple update. A new Dash payroll app with real-time payments. Nothing unusual. But that's not what this is. Because the app you see runs on Dash, but the system moving the money inside it is Zebec. And at the same time, Zebec is integrating into traditional payment rails, the same infrastructure banks already use. So now you've got one system sitting between crypto apps on one side and legacy banking rails on the other, not replacing them, not competing, sitting directly in the middle of both. And that's where this stops being a tech update and becomes a control layer, and most people won't even realize it's there, because most people think the app they use is what matters, but the app isn't what moves your money. The system underneath it does. And if that system is plugged into everything, apps, payroll, banking rails, then you're not choosing how your money moves anymore. You're operating inside whatever system is already there. And here's the part almost no one is ready for. If that system changes, you don't get notified. You don't get a choice. It just becomes the new normal. So the real question isn't what app you're using. It's whether you're okay with a system moving your money that you never chose in the first place. Because whether that's a risk or the foundation of where money is going next is exactly why people are starting to pay attention to Zebec Network before it becomes something you don't get to question later.
All right, now we're going to get into the news for the week from April 6th to April 10th. But I'm going to start with April 10th because this was pretty wild, and I'm going to show you why. So SpaceX is coming to Solana. Pre-SPAX, powered by Join Republic, launches April 18th on BitGet IPO Prime. So they're going on to Solana. And the weird / crazy thing about this is right here. Ghost posted about it last year after Zebec posted about their funding. Yeah, there we go. They were funded by Republic. So here's a post from Ghost. Republic Capital was a very early backer of Zebec Network. In the past, Republic Capital has backed high-profile companies like Robinhood, Kraken, and even SpaceX. We already know about the Coinbase and Binance investments into Zebec Network years ago, but now we're potentially bringing 2 more exchanges into the picture with this connection. Republic Capital also has a group of co-investors that include the likes of Andreessen Horowitz, Pantera Capital, Goldman Sachs, Bain Capital, and more. When you tie that in with Jim Breyer, and we know 314 loves Jim Breyer, then you get one remarkable list of people supporting this project. You can't ignore investors. Investors will want a return on their investment. ZBCN cannot and will not fail for this exact reason. This was a very good post from Ghost, and this was a year ago. Wow. Okay, so the news for Zebec Network for the week that was the 5th on Sunday. Okay, yeah, 100,000 holders. Let's go. I think we might have applauded that last week on our last episode, or maybe that was in the Zebec Nation flagship episode, but I'm not sure. But congratulations, Zebec Network, for 100,000 holders. That's insane. Okay, now let's get into, we first integrated Dash in our Zebec cards. Now we're powering the brand new Dash-based streaming payroll app, a white label app built by Zebec Network, enabling fast, self-custodial, real-time streaming payments for Dash. Send, receive, and withdrawal Dash in real time. Now let's watch this. So what else happened this week with Zebec? They had a space with Uphold. I really hope you listened to the space because that was between Simon, Martin, and Ben. And Simon actually blurted out that he sees Zebec reaching 1 billion for this year by the end of 2026. So that's awesome. And I think right now, the Q1 statistics For the quarter one stats, it said we are at 49 million in volume per month already. So there you go. Proud to be a pirate. If you haven't seen these, go to their Twitter page. Let's see if there's anything else that happened last week. No. Oh yeah, you can still buy your Zebec XRP cards. If you haven't yet, there's probably a couple hundred left or something like that. I don't think there's that many left when I checked. That's it for the Zebec Gazette. If you enjoyed the chaos, like, subscribe, and share the Zebec Nation podcast on X, YouTube, and Discord. Don't forget.
Shout out to Zebec Nation. This Zebec and X space collaboration, SpaceX, the SpaceX that has never came out yet. We're still waiting for the IPO there. So, Toshi, by integrating native XRPL support and RLUSD payroll, institutional bank validators, Zebec is establishing itself as a premier global benchmark for PayFi. ADP and Zebec integration would unlock yield-bearing payroll, allowing employers to optimize corporate treasuries by earning interest on stablecoin funds until the moment of disbursement. Anyone else here owns some Dash long term? I was thinking about it, but I don't know. It also enables streaming credit, providing employees with instant low interest credit lines backed in by real time data of their earned but unpaid wages. All right, Toshi, I see you with the info today. Peter, what's going on with the long term Dash? I was thinking about it too. I don't know, man. I wanted to mine Dash, and then I kind of wasn't sure, and then I waited, and then it went off, and then the price kind of came back down quick. So I don't really know what's going on with Dash. Gonna have to research that back. Let me see. Let's see what's going on. Is Dash? Where is Dash? Yeah, down 3.6. I don't know. Like I was mining Flux and it came down. So I don't know. But let's go to this video and I'll be right back.
The correlation is with Zebec. Breaking: SpaceX is coming to Solana. Pre-SPAX powered by Join Republic launches April 18th on BitGet IPO Prime. So I did a little bit of research. As of 2026, SpaceX is not officially operating on Solana, but synthetic tokenized equity products such as our SpaceX or pre-SpaceX are available, allowing exposure to its pre-IPO stock on the Solana blockchain. These tokens, such as those launched by Republic, reflect the value of SpaceX shares. So very interesting how now SpaceX is diving into the crypto space. Of course, we know Elon is behind that. Very, very interesting. And how does this correlate to ZBCN? And of course, ZBCN Man has did a phenomenal job. But before we get into this post, let's do a little recap on the price action. We see that Zebec is trading sideways once again at a relatively stable market cap at 260 million. We know there's a lot of things that are happening in the Middle East, which is causing the prices to absolutely go crazy. But we do want to kind of highlight this right here, the 100,000 holders for Zebec. And once again, it's breaking into that top 100. A lot of people are talking about it, which again is a wonderful sign. We've seen the Q1 reports, which absolutely looked amazing compared to the ones we've seen back in September, November, December, October. We've seen that there's growth. If we see growth, whether it's 1%, 2%, or 3%, or whatever the variable is, we know the company is performing well. But let's get back to this post right here. Republic investors backed Zebec. Republic is powering pre-SPX. You do the math. Now the picture gets really interesting. Here's a full bull case. The Republic connection in the smoking gun. Look at the web of relationships here. Republic via Join Republic is a platform powering pre-SPX. Republic centralized co-led Zebec's original seed round, and Republic's capital investment vehicles hold direct stake in Zebec's lab. Two separate Republic capital funds are formally invested into Zebec. That's very, very big. This isn't a distant association. Republic literally has skin in both sides of this deal. So here's the juicy part where everything kind of makes sense and how it just comes together. Now, later on what Zebec actually does. SpaceX has roughly 13,000 plus employees. Zebec's entire purpose is enabling per second payroll streaming instant of monthly lump sum payment salary flows continuously in real time. If pre-SPX tokenized SpaceX equity on Solana and Republic is the infrastructure partner, who better to handle the payroll and treasury management side than the Solana native payroll protocol Republic already backed and believed in? Zebec. The deflationary timing couldn't be better. The final token unlock completed in March 2026. No new Zebec supplies enter circulation from here, and the protocol shifts to a fully deflationary model where supply contraction outpaces expansion and demand surges from the SpaceX/Solana native hits a supply constrained token. That's absolutely crazy. As we know, there's no more tokens essentially for Zebec in circulation. We reached almost fully that are available. We know the buybacks are happening. We know the burns are happening. And we know that 10% of the supply is already locked up. What is that going to do, guys? It's going to drive the price of Zebec up. We're already predicting a penny. And a lot of economists are predicting a $1 valuation for Zebec. It can truly happen. Don't just think of it as the supply so much as 100 billion. If you, in comparison, we look at XRP. XRP also has a 100 billion supply, no burns, no buybacks, nothing like that. So again, just a food for thought. And the ecosystem momentum is already building. Zebec was just flagged as a top RWA token with significant whale accumulation. We already seen that. A lot of tracking happens, like ZBCN man, for example. He's always, putting out those screenshots where we see massive amounts, like I think like 10, like large. We're talking like millions, right? That amount being moved around from whales. Whenever we see massive movements happening, we definitely have to be on alert because we can potentially expect something. We've seen it happen before. When we see prices absolutely crash, and then we see massive accumulation, and the price absolutely surge. So there's definitely something happening in the back end. A lot of people can say it's manipulation, but who knows, guys? It's just how crypto is. Going back to this, so RWA token with significant whale accumulation, large holders increased their stake by 3.52% in a bullish technical setup. The full thesis is in one statement is basically Republic backed Zebec. Republic is powering pre-SPAX. Pre-SPAX launches on Solana April 18th. So that's just in about 5 days. Zebec is the premier Solana payroll treasury protocol now in a deflationary supply phase. That's not random overlap. That's a connected web. What the market hasn't fully priced in yet. Always do your own research, guys. Remember, it's all speculation. Nothing is financial advice. It's a very good prediction on how SpaceX is coming to Solana and how that can drive and bring Zebec into the equation. It's very, very exciting, guys. In the next 5 days, it's about to happen. Let's see how this plays out. Again, it's very, very exciting for Zebec holders. If you guys, I know you guys are one of the day ones that all support the videos and watch them. Massive shout out to you guys. And also drop a like on this video if you do enjoy it. It does help me push out more content. This is pretty exciting too. I mean, thank you to everyone who participated in our XRP Las Vegas trivia giveaway. Only 1,600 entries across both rounds. Guys, there's 100,000 people that hold Zebec. I know not everyone follows them on Instagram or on Twitter or whatever the case may be. But guys, if you're holding a project, you want to still do the right research about it, just making sure it's the right asset you're holding and you kind of believe in where the company is heading. Don't just hold for the profits, actually hold for the mission and what the core values are of this project. I definitely think Zebec is going to run. It's not a project that's here to stay for a little bit. It's been around for almost a year plus now. Definitely going to be around for the next few years and even longer, guys. Things are getting very, very exciting. Hopefully we get a pause on this geopolitical tensions that are happening in the Middle East, and then we can get back to the glory days. So if you enjoyed today's video, give this video a like, and I'll catch you guys on my next one. Take care.
So shout out to AA. It also enables streaming credit. That we read this. Employees, low interest rates. I was thinking about it too. It would definitely look cooler if more professional paying with that in the future. Let's go. What up, Tony? Where you been, bro? Thanks for joining. This is Young Wealth. Let's see what Young Wealth has to say. I'll be right back.
Right. I've told people that, I've suggested or I've given my opinion that ZBCN will hit $1
on the macro. Okay, ZBCN will actually hit $1 in the long term within the next 5 to 10 years. But honestly, this can happen within a year. You might think I'm being unrealistic here, but let's just take a look. I don't know, I've done this multiple videos now, but let's take a look at what XRP did in 2018. In 2018, it went from in a year's time, it went from a fraction of 6 cents to $3.84. Now, if you just do that in a calculator, right, and you do that move in the calculator, that's actually a 590x. If you times X or ZBCN's current price point today with 590x, well, that will push it above $1.47. Okay, that happened within a year. Now, I'm not worried about it not hitting $1. It's just, when is it gonna happen? We're gonna break down in today's video. Now, as I've said, XRP hit that in a year's time. All we really need is catalyst. See, right now, cryptocurrency sentiment is at an all-time low. I was pulling more views 4 years ago than I pull now. That shows you that the sentiment for cryptocurrency right now is at an all-time low. But once retail rushes back into the market, which I do think can happen in the next 2 years, there's no reason why I can't see this hitting 50 billion in the market cap, at 99 billion in the market cap. That's my humble opinion, because this token did it in 2018. 2018 was around 8 years ago. 8 years ago, there was less people in cryptocurrency. There was less people that knew about blockchain technology, and there was less liquidity to go around. See, what's missing right now is attraction. See, to get attraction, we're going to need the Fed to actually cut rates. That would actually lower the interest rates when it comes to borrowing money and using its collateral against your actual investment when it comes to investing into crypto. That can happen within the next year. See, anytime they cut rates, that means the money printer is actually back on. And once the money printer is back on, well, the market cap can be unlimited. The market cap don't really matter, guys, because when you're talking about a token that's actually, or a network, should I say, that's actually gonna deal with streaming and payroll, we're talking about people's wages here. A lot of people have jobs, a lot of people work, and there's trillions, multi-trillions to go around. It's all about competition. As you can see, there's a lot of competition with ZBCN. There's not competition, but I'm talking about in terms of market share when it comes to cryptocurrency. We can see that it's not in the top 100 yet. It's not even in the top 100. The top 100, the last one, is actually a $320 million market cap. That shows you how early we are, because a lot of these tokens are going to be multi-billions, not the ones that pay, but a lot of them, they're going to get replaced. And I feel like ZBCN is one of those tokens we can see in the top 20 within a year from now. So if we see it in the top 20, a lot more eyes and FOMO are going to get onto this project. So how long? I'm going to actually say that this can happen within the next 1 to 2 years. The reason I say that is because I do believe that the Fed chair is being replaced, and I do believe that when it comes to the Fed cutting the rates, it won't happen anytime soon. Once it happens, guys, you have to be ready for absolute FOMO, okay? You have to be ready for absolute euphoria. That's what we have to prepare for. So I'm going to give this token even just 2 years to hit $1. If it don't happen in 2 years, I don't care. I'm still going to hold. I'm going to keep investing. As you can see, I have a wallet over here, which I recently just opened. If I just actually show you, we can actually see if you're up or down today. I think we're actually down today, but on the long term, we're going to be up actually over 100x. As you can see, this is one bag of ZBCN. Now, I've said already, if it goes to $1, this is already 500,000 or almost 500,000. So just knowing that, things happen quick. Let me go on XRP's graph and show you how quick things can happen for this token, okay? I'm going to show you guys. If you go on market cap, we'll actually have a look at the market cap. And as you can see, the market cap right now is 88 billion. Okay, 88 billion. If I cross these out, get rid of these drones real quick, and we go to the daily, we can have a look at this. Okay, we zoom out all the way back to 20. 2018. Okay. Now, as you can see over here, back here, the market cap was in 2016. The market cap was 179 million. If you fast forward 2 years later, well, that gives you a market cap of 127 billion. And bear in mind, guys, this was not in 2021. This was not in 2024. This was all the way back in 2018. So it shows you that market cap is really, really irrelevant. Not fully relevant, but it's really relevant to how high a coin can go, because it's not what you think. People think that it has to have $126 billion invested. No, market cap moves up quicker than that. So just off that mere facts, I believe the next 2 to 5 years is when we're going to see that dollar price range. Now, if we just take a look at ZBCN and why I believe that is because it says, why Stellar, right? This is the actual article over here. It says, why Stellar? They've partnered with Stellar. Stellar has always been purpose-built for payments, specifically cross-border payments, okay? Now, cross-border payments actually deal with I think it's around $10 trillion a day. So if we got even 10%, not 10%, if you got 1% of that, well, that's a trillion. Oh, that's 100, not trillion, that's 100 billion. 100 billion already there. 1%. Now we know that it's going to deal with a lot more than 1%, in my humble opinion. That's why I'm making the video, because you got to understand that if you own over 100K of ZBCN, a lot of you're gonna be able to quit your job, quit your 9 to 5 just off that amount of ZBCN. Okay, just knowing that, I'm gonna be taking advantage of that. I'm greedy. I don't want to actually say I'm gonna stop investing. Nah, I'm gonna be greedy up until probably the all-time highs. When it gets to all-time highs, I'm gonna slow down, wait for a pullback, and actually keep investing. That's my strategy. I feel like once we get that spike, because as you can see over here, if you go market cap, this how irrelevant market cap is. It went from 75 million all the way to 500 million within the space of less than a month. That shows you how quick it can happen. If we do the mathematics and we actually get the calculator out, we can actually see if it over.
Anyone think Elon Musk will be at the XRP Las Vegas? I did think about that too, Tony. That's actually a good point. I don't know. That's a good question. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know.
Extended it, duplicated that same pattern, that same layout. Well, I'm gonna show you the math. That's over a 6x. If you do a 6x right now, well, that puts us at 1.6 billion in market cap already. Okay, already in the space that can happen in the space of a month. Once we get to the billions, that's when the real retail is gonna rush and actually rush to buy ZBCN and Zebec. Okay, just knowing that, that's why I'm prepared, because things in crypto happen quick. This can happen overnight. Not a dollar, of course. I'm saying $1 billion market cap can happen overnight. Right now, sentiment is at an all-time low. When sentiment comes back around and we see these spikes, be ready for ultimate FOMO. Okay, be ready for ultimate FOMO. So yeah, my estimate is a year to around 2 years to 3. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was doing well for another one. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna catch you guys more content real soon. Peace.
Advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. This is purely my perspective. However, again, did you know that in the first quarter of this year alone, Zebec actually allegedly served 13,100 employees? And this is not even according to me. It's not something I figured out myself. That's not the case. They recently released a quarterly report for 2026, and it did indicate that they allegedly did serve 13,100 employees, which I think showcases really kind of the impact when it comes to Zebec overall, because we have to think about that. That's a lot. That's very massive. I mean, if we think about a stadium and there's, let's say, 13,000 people approximately attending that, that would be considered pretty impressive. So I think this right here kind of highlights, I think, what Zebec has been doing so far, because for the first quarter of this year, a lot of people have been complaining about Zebec. But at the same time, I think that this is more so of a marathon for me. It's not a sprint. I mean, for a project, in my hypothetical perspective, to kind of make it through a market downturn, historically, what have we seen? We've seen projects that continue to build.
In this update, we're going to check out Zebec's price chart in like very short time and see what might be the next likely move. And I still, by the way, do think that we're going to go up, but there are some nuance. Now, however, before we get into all that good stuff, real quick, we're going to spend the first couple of minutes of this video talking about fundamentals. And in this update, I want to actually talk about the Zebec's Q1 report. And I want to specifically first talk about the bigger picture, because this is actually where things start to look quite different for Zebec, because it seems like that Zebec is slowly turning into a full financial infrastructure layer that operates across multiple ecosystems, and that maybe it should change how we look at Zebec completely. You see, one of the most important parts in this report is actually the move to multi-chain, because before, well, Zebec was heavily tied to Solana. However, right now, with integrations like, for example, Stellar and Alio, the whole risk profile is going to change. On one hand, you got a Stellar, which is quite fascinating because, in case you don't know what is going on in here, a Stellar was basically from the beginning designed for one and only one thing, which is called payments. And it's very important to understand that these guys are already connected to traditional finance systems, like, for example, MoneyGram. So instead of Zebec trying to build those bridges from scratch, they are basically plugging into something that already works at a scale, which is huge. On the other side, you got partnerships like Alio, which is going to bring something completely different. And it's what? You know what? It's called privacy. You see, one of the biggest problems with crypto payroll has always been the fact that salaries are absolutely public on chain, and companies simply do not accept that. Now, with Alio, okay, that issue is going to get removed for Zebec. So now they can realistically target companies that care about confidentiality. And when you combine that with the support for 19 different chains, okay, it's going to become rather clear that Zebec is essentially trying to position itself as a neutral payment layer, as opposed to just being completely dependent on any single ecosystem. Now, if you look at the actual numbers, you realize that, okay, especially when you compare them to the previous numbers, they're not necessarily explosive. However, that's actually the interesting part in here, and one very important reason for why, fundamental-wise, I am so bullish and optimistic on Zebec. You see, if you look at the numbers, you realize that card volume moved from around 61 million to about 65. Okay, not that bad. Payroll went from 47 to 49 million on a monthly basis. Great. And the number of employees and enterprise clients also kept growing steadily. And this, again, is not like a huge increase driven by completely hype. No, this is very much a slow, but very much at the same time, a steady and consistent, which usually means real usage. And the fact that they reached over 13,000 employees and more than 240 enterprise clients definitely does tell you that these are actual organizations integrating Zebec into their operations. And the key thing in here, I would say, to notice is that the growth is right now happening while at the same time Zebec is trying to upgrade infrastructure and expand across chains, which usually these processes are going to slow companies down. But again, in this case, it seems like we are having the opposite situation, because usage is clearly still moving up, and that to us should be a rather positive signal suggesting, yep, the product is already embedded in real workflows. Now, the part that really ties everything together, of course, is going to be the super app in here, because This essentially is where Zebec turns from just a set of tools into something much, much harder to compete with. And by putting payroll, cards, staking, and treasury management all inside one beautiful platform, they are basically becoming the financial dashboard for a company. Think of it from like a business perspective. Once a company sets up payroll streams, connects employees' payments, manages treasury flows, and maybe to a degree even handles vesting schedules inside one system, well, in that case, I think it is fair to assume that leaving that setup is not really going to be easy. And I mean, let's be honest, why would they want to leave Zebec? Unless something is going to go catastrophically wrong, I don't really think they are going to leave them. And this, well, exactly is why we love payroll, because the nature of payroll business is very much sticky. And if you see an increase in the numbers in this month, trust me, that increase is not really going to go away anytime soon. Now, on top of all that, you should actually note that the white label side in here as well is becoming sort of kind of a big deal quietly, because with over 40 plus partners building on top of Zebec's infrastructure, a lot of the volume is not even directly visible to users. Other companies are right now using Zebec in the background, which means what? More transactions, number two, more usage, and number three, more fees flowing into the system without Zebec needing to acquire every single user directly. And that is awesome, because when you connect this whole situation to the token side, okay, this is where things get quite interesting for us as ZBCN investors. You see, this report confirms that the final token unlock finished in March of 2026, and we talked about this, I believe it was a couple of videos back. This is quite important because it removes one of the biggest risks, which is constant selling pressure from early investors. Now, from here, the token model can actually function the way that it was initially designed. Meaning what? You see, every single time companies use payroll or any super app feature, the fees are paid in ZBCN token. And that's going to create what? You know what? Ongoing demand tied directly to the usage. And at the same time, you should note that revenue from the card program is also used to buy back ZBCN token from the market, which is going to do what? You know what? It is going to reduce supply over time. And again, none of the things that I'm trying to explain actually are going to show their effects in like very, very short term. This is for like the mid to long term scenarios. And I do think in a long period of time, you are going to see the effects of these things big time. So essentially, you have demand coming from usage and also supply getting reduced from buybacks. And both of these are actually connected to real world activity, not speculation. And also on top of this, you got the fact that the network has crossed 100,000 holders. And if you put these things together, you get a more stable base of participants supporting liquidity. Now, if you zoom out a little bit, you can actually see how everything for Zebec is lining up. They are already operating in close to 100 countries, which puts them in the same conversation as traditional payroll companies, not just some small crypto startups. They are also pushing into new areas like, for example, artificial intelligence agent payments, which could hopefully open a completely different source of transaction volume in the future. And even on the visibility side, things like partnerships and real-world marketing are right now helping bridge the gap between crypto users and normal users who don't really care about blockchains, but at the same time, they care very much about fast payments. So I guess the final takeaway in here can be this. You see, this report, I do think, is showing a slow but very much a steady growth. And you've got tens of millions of monthly payroll, a strong card volume, growing enterprise adoption, and also a token model that is now fully active without dilution pressure. And if they keep executing on this current path, especially on the multi-chain and enterprise side, I do believe that in the mid to long term, we are going to see massive waves of price appreciation for the token ZBCN. So again, overall, fundamental wise, once more, to me at least, this report suggests we are definitely on the right direction. Now, having said all this, let's go on the live chart and let's also see what is happening in a very, very short term and what might be the next likely move. Okay, here we are. And before we get into what's happening in like very short term, let me real quick explain what is going on in the midterm in Zebec and why am I overall actually quite a bit optimistic. You see, in my view, in ZBCN, we are having off of the lows to about the highs, a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as you can see with all the subwaves. Followed by that, I think we can all clearly see that this is a very much a slow and choppy move down, and let's just real quick measure it timing wise. So far to about the lows, this move down has taken us about 1500 candlesticks on H4 time frame. On the other hand, this move up only happened in about 200, let's say 40 candlesticks. Meaning what? Despite having way more than enough time, it seems like that bears in here are failing to pull the price all the way back down to these levels. And to me, this is again once more a clear characteristic of a correction structure, and essentially I'm going to argue overall we are dealing with a bullish setup and we can consider two different possibilities. Scenario number one suggests on a higher degree you are having in this area wave 1, correction for wave 2, and what's next? A very strong move up into wave 3, and then correction for 4, and yet another move on the upside into wave 5. And for instance, you can maybe argue this huge move up into our wave 3 is going to be the next bull run. This wave 4 can be, I don't know, possibly the next bear market, and then followed by the next bull run in Zebec. Maybe, yeah, okay, fair enough, that is a possibility. But that's not really the point. The point is, I think overall, again, we are having a bullish setup, and minimum, we are going to get at least something like this. Now, if this 1, 2, 3 is happening, then okay, this move up is actually going to get extremely extended, and the bare minimum target, you know it, naturally is going to be taking the highest high in here in Zebec, about, let's say, 0.7 of a cent. But again, since I said it's going to get extended, I'm thinking probably somewhere like a 2 cent Zebec is not really that unrealistic. On the other hand, even if you want to be pessimistic, I think even in that scenario, we are looking overall quite good, because I'm thinking we are probably having, according to a rather pessimistic scenario, an ABC zigzag, which the subways for it are going to be like this: 5 up into A, correction for B, excuse me. Let's call it this time a WXY. The shape of it honestly is not that important. And then another 5 up into C. And if I just go on the live chart, okay, what do you have here? This is 5 up, okay, fair enough, into A. This is correction. Let's call it a B leg. And wait a minute. Where is your wave C? You don't really have it yet. So I'm going to argue again, one way or the other in the midterm in Zebec, most likely we are going to witness yet another move on the upside. It's just the fact that if we're going to have this C leg right in here, the target for it once more, bare minimum, is going to be taking this high. But I think at that point, we may go maybe like just a little bit higher than that, maybe somewhere around 1 cent area. And maybe at that point, it will be at the end of at least this phase on the upside. Bottom line is this: because of the fundamentals and also technicals of Zebec, based on what I'm saying, I'm going to say probably we are having some decent buy opportunities. And I do think in the midterm, we are going to witness quite a bit of price appreciation for the token. Now, in this area, what is happening? Okay, so I think I explained to you what is going on in terms of classic TA in the previous video, but let's just one more time talk about it and argue if you're having a bit of a support in here and the price maybe has played with it a couple of times. Number one, this isn't really a good sign suggesting we're going to have a breakdown. Now, when you get a breakdown, what you want to see is a pullback and then a continuation of the move down. On the other hand, if you end up having, sure, a bit of a move down, but then a quick recovery and reclaiming this important level and then start consolidating above it, this is actually a very bullish sign. Why? Because initially, sure, in here, bears were sort of kind of in control, but the fact that once more quickly we got back above this important level, it actually shows that bulls are fully back and they are going to hopefully sell the price up. And this is the exact setup that we are having in Zebec. You see, this was a major area of support that we played with it a couple of times. And then real quick, we got a bit of a wash down. But hey, what happened next? We did get a move up. And maybe even to a degree, I was thinking this might just be sort of kind of a pullback to the broken level. But it seems like that, nope, we have successfully reclaim this important level, because what happened in here, we got a move above the level, then a pullback, and then another move up, and in it, we took this important high. So to me, this is actually a very, very positive sign, suggesting hopefully this level once more is going to hold and it is going to send us up. Now, in terms of Helios wave scenarios, we can consider so many different possibilities. For example, one scenario suggests, if I just zoom in a little bit, that in here we are having maybe, let's just take this one, 5 up into 1, correction for wave 2, and then maybe like a good move on the upside into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And the other possibility suggests that this is actually a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, maybe the end of our wave 2 is going to be right around, I don't know, maybe even, yep, this area. And then we are having a series of 1, 2s. This can be 1, 2, and then good move into wave 3, 4, 5, and then that is going to be into wave 3, correction for 4, followed by, again, yet another move on the upside into wave 5. Which one of these bullish scenarios are in play? At the moment, I really cannot tell you anything for sure. Also, in the interest of being objective, let's talk a little bit about a bearish possibility, suggesting, as opposed to an impulse, we're just having the subwaves in here for a beautiful clear-cut ABC zigzag, maybe even to around the previous major pivot high. Now, here's a very important point. I think based on what is going on in classic TA and based on what we just talked about, this bearish count shouldn't really be our primary scenario. And as long as we're not proven otherwise, I think we should be a bit positive. Now, here's a very important question. When is it going to be that we're going to be proven otherwise? God forbid if we end up having from here, or maybe like just a teeny tiny bit higher, a bit of a strong move down without a lot of overlapping of the waves in order to take this important low about, let's say, 0.2 of a cent. Okay, at that point, because from here to about the highs, finding an impulse is going to be a bit of a challenge, I'm going to argue, you know what? Yep, unfortunately, this is an ABC, and our move down from here is going to continue in order to once more visit the lows in here about 0.15 of a cent, and God forbid, maybe even take them and then reach to about the next important support all the way down here between 0.135 to about 0.142 of a cent area. But as long as, again, we're not taking the lows, I think we should be a bit positive. Now, having said all this, let's go real quick on some lower time frames and talk about what happened since we talked about Zebec in the previous video. You see, if you remember, the last time that we talked about ZBCN, we were right around this area and we talked about a couple of bullish signs that suggested, okay, odds are this move up is going to continue. If you remember, bullish sign number 1 came down to the fact that this move on the upside was actually kind of a strong move. And when you looked at the subwaves, you realized that this is actually a bit of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning maybe even this was the low of our correction. And this is going to be the start of yet another phase up. Sign number 2, which suggested we are looking quite optimistic, was the fact that during this move on the upside, we actually took these highs right in here, maybe sort of kind of even to a degree, confirming that yes, this is a whole correction structure on the downside, and once more suggesting our move up is going to continue. But we said odds are we're just going to have in here a bit of a correction, and maybe from here we're going to have even yet another move on the downside, and then what you want to see is a bit of a bounce back, and we did get our bounce back. However, pay attention please. If I just remove the drawings, there we go. Okay, so question for you: from the lowest low, which is right in here, to about the highs, which is this one, are you able to find a bit of a 5-8? I mean, do not get me wrong, maybe there is a chance that we are having like a 1, 2, and then wave 3, a very small and minuscule correction for another move up into wave 5. But again, I think we can all very much agree that this actually looks quite a bit odd. So I'm gonna say, yes, this is an ABC down, but followed by that, we actually got yet another move on the upside in form of a correction structure, in form of, I'm gonna say, probably an ABC, suggesting what? I'm gonna say probably in Zebec, from the current point in the next maybe 48 to 72 hours, we are actually going to witness another move down. Now, whether in this move, we are going to take the lowest low in here about 0.246 of a cent or not, okay, I guess that can be a little bit up for debate, but I do think we are going to most likely get a bit of a move down in order to bare minimum take this low. And if that move is going to be a correction structure, a very slow move as well, at that point, I'm thinking we probably can entertain the idea of having maybe to about, I'm going to say probably this point a bit of a correction. No, even maybe, yeah, let's just actually call this point a bit of a correction structure, followed by yet another ABC zigzag down in order to complete the subwaves for, you know what I'm about to say, on a higher degree, a bit of a double zigzag. And this can be, for example, some sort of a triangular structure into our wave X. The point is, right now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm willing to bet that we're going to have minimum yet another move on the downside. And here is one more reason to think a move down is coming. You see, it seems like that we do have a bit of a trend line in here going on. However, once more, we do have an issue. And at this point, if you are a regular viewer, you fully know what is going on. The problem is that we have touched this trend line way too many times. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we are touching this line. And every single time we are getting some sort of a reaction from it. So I'm going to say this is actually a bit of a weak trend line, meaning what? Yeah, you should count more on a break of it as opposed to getting a full-blown rejection from it. Once more confirming, yep, probably a move down is coming. And I want to be very clear, after the move down that we are most likely going to get, I'm still expecting a good move on the upside in Zebec, okay? It's just the fact that before we get this phase, odds are we are going to get this one first. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Zebec's chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. I think that concludes the show. So here's the real debate today. Is Zebec becoming one of the strongest real world utility plays in crypto, or is the market getting ahead of itself? Does base support plus cards plus payroll plus super app create a real long-term Zebec thesis, or do you still need to see bigger adoptions before you buy the story? Drop your take in the chat right now. Bullish, cautious, or waiting for proof? If Zebec really turns on-chain money into everyday life, the rest of crypto is going to need a very awkward group meeting. So, thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for your support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And Crow, no doubt it's a powerhouse. Thank you, sir. And good stuff, brother man. Thank you, Dave. Don't forget to tune in later. I think we'll do a ZBC, not ZB, XRP live stream later this evening, and we might actually get the Caspa as well. But thanks for joining. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. Miners out.